general meeting. This is pretty crazy that the year is starting up again, but welcome returning members, new members, associate members, should I call you now. So just a couple announcements before we start with today's meeting. So returning members, we didn't get a chance to go over this, but do notice that there is a new point system intact or being used. There's no more cardinal and gold. Now it's only active membership or no membership at all. So if you don't achieve the requirements set for active membership by the end of the year, which is essentially like gold membership last year, you are no longer a member of this organization. That's how that works. So we are trying to move to more honor society. So that's why we felt it was necessary to kind of make this new change. So hopefully you guys read that in your applications because you all signed it. Hopefully it wasn't like the iTunes, terms and conditions where you just like check off and didn't read it. Probably was for a lot of you, but okay. That was supposed to be funny. What you guys laughing at? Jeez. Oh my god. Okay. What else? So we have our first social chair. We have our first social coming up. Michelle, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
We have our first social next Thursday night. We're going to start at 8:30 for new members, so you guys can all meet each other and not be like nervous meeting people that are already in the club. And then 9:30 is when our old members will come. And yeah, that's going to be on the rooftop of Gateway, so just like kind of a central location, so pretty easy to find.
Yeah, so you guys will get more info about that and stuff like that. Our scrubs parties are famous.
Oh, it's a scrubs party too,
Yeah.
so supposed to wear scrubs to it.
We're going to be selling scrubs next Wednesday in here. So we're going to have our board meeting. You guys can come in and buy scrubs. They're $30. So, yeah.
Yeah, our scrubs are super cool.
They're like their scrubs.
Yeah.
They're better than their scrubs.
Really?
Yes. Okay. What else? Oh, we were invited to a luau this Saturday. It's for all members of DES. It's at one of the dental fraternity houses. They're called DSD. I forgot what street they're on, 28 or something like that.
I did.
Okay, excuse me. Party animals. So they're on 29. If you guys want more information, we'll be blasting that out on Facebook for all you guys to attend. It is a 21+ event. So if you have an ID or whatever, then you can join us at DSD for the festivities. Okay, keep signing up for SSC. We have SSC on Fridays. The emails go out on Sunday nights. You do not need HIPAA or anything else along those lines. You don't need to be a previous member. All you need is to show up on Friday morning with a smile on your face, 8 a.m. at the school, and that's all we ask of you. What else? Rotations?
Yes, so today I finally got confirmation on all the times for rotations, so if you'd like to sign up, come talk to me. They're basically every single day of the week for both oral surgery and pediatrics, so it's 3-hour shift time increments, so let me know if you guys can make the entire time or not, so yeah, come talk to me.
We'll send out email blasts about all that, so you guys will be up to date on everything. And then we do have Kicks for Kids on Sunday. Basically, it's just you're playing soccer for 2 hours on Sunday mornings with one of our board members and a bunch of USC students. They play soccer with developmentally delayed and challenged youngsters, kids. So it's a good time. It's a good experience. It's good to do something other than dental-related volunteer work. So yeah, it's definitely something that you guys can get involved in. And we offer 5 spots every Sunday, not including the e-board member. And you guys get 1 wildcard point for attending that. So the sign-up will go out Thursday or Friday or whenever it wants. Yeah? Okay. Alright, I think that's it for our announcements. Before we started with our speaker, I just wanted to introduce our assistant advisor from the admissions office, Ryan Pineda. Hi, so that's Ryan. Big round of applause for him. DES definitely wouldn't be possible without him, without Sandra Bolivar in the admissions office. So yeah, definitely be very thankful to him. And he's open to questions if you guys have any questions about your schoolwork and applying and stuff like that. He's extremely friendly. He's very nice. Always open. Just open door policy most of the time. So email him in advance and I'm sure he'll accommodate all of you. So okay, without further ado, I want to introduce today's speaker, Randy from the Pre-Health Advisement Office. So big round of applause for him.
going, everybody? I think this is the most credence I've seen in my life. It's good. It's a good thing. I like it. I've seen a lot of you in the office. I've met with quite a few of you. We've worked together. My name is Randy for the new students. I'm one of the pre-health advisors here on campus. We've been around since 2010. Is when the office was opened. I've been with the office since it opened, and I've been with the university for about 6 years now in general. So we're going to go through a short little presentation that we put together for you guys. I know it's interview season. How many of you guys are in the application cycle right now? Okay, so just this half of you. Alright. So it's this presentation, it's very general, right? For any health professional field, any job, any interview, it's very, very broad in the sense of having very specific things to do and how to prepare and what to think about before going into an interview. And it's not just exclusively for dental school, but it could also be for an internship. It could also be for a volunteering opportunity or a research position. It really just depends. So, of course, like always, I forgot my business cards. So if you guys have questions, the information is right here on the PowerPoint, and it'll be going around to you guys. It'll be on the website for the DDS website probably next week. I'll get you the copy. So I've created a top 10 list. It's an adaptation that I liked from that I saw from a Princeton presentation that we saw earlier this year. So let's get into it. So the number 10, sorry. The number 10 tip is the elevator pitch. Coming up with a very specific understanding of why are you going to be, why are you interviewing, why are you here for dentistry, why do you want to be here, why do you want to do this as a career. You want to have a full-on pitch that can go, up to 5 minutes if the person that asks you is interested. Don't bombard them with information if they don't want to know it. Give them the gist. A quick 2-3 minutes of what's brought you to this point, why do you want to be a dentist, and what are your goals and hopes and aspirations. If they seem interested and they want to know more, then great, expand upon it. But if not, keep it to a minimum. One of the big mistakes in interviewing and not being prepared to understand what you're going to say, there's this fine line of being rehearsed and just rambling. Right? You don't want to get in there and start rambling. So you want to have an idea, create bullet points for yourself of why you're doing this, what your motivations are, why you want to be a dentist, and have that as a place of reference, but not a place of memorization. Don't say, I want to do this because I thought it would be the greatest thing in the world, and here I am today. No. You want to go through and really speak from the heart. You know what I mean? I decided to pursue this because of X, Y, and Z situation. It really changed my life. I didn't have insurance as a kid, and when I had to get my first root canal, it cost my parents $1,000. And my dentist really worked with us, and it was such an amazing experience that he took care of us in the way his care was. It really influenced my life, and it inspired me to want to pursue a career in dentistry. You know what I mean? You get the root of it, you get to where you are, and move on. Alright. Number 9. I'm sorry, my printer wasn't working for whatever reason, and so I have to read my notes at the bottom, so it's really, we're going to keep it a little hood here, so it's alright. If you guys have questions, feel free to raise your hand as I'm going along. I know we went through a couple different scenarios when we met with Matt and Julian. So, all right, tip number 9. It is be you. There's a big stigma about how much you should reveal about yourself. You need to be very open, very, very willing to share about what your motivations are, what your values are, what's important to you, why you're doing this, why you want to be here. When I say be comfortable with revealing about yourself when they ask some questions, don't go into your family drama. Don't go and say, oh yeah, I come from X, Y, and Z, or I did drugs and I do whatever. No. Don't talk about this. You'll be surprised how many people will go in, and I'll ask. You guys watch political debates. Hopefully you guys all vote. You ask a question about education and they bring it back to whatever their main agenda is. You do not want to be like that. You don't want to have me ask you, so what about dentistry really draws your interest? Oh, well, I like dentistry and I've done really well in my classes and I have a 3.8 GPA and I did really well in the DAT. That doesn't tell me anything. You know what I mean? So be willing to be open and be reflective. first of all. You gotta be reflective before you go into this. So that way when you get there and they ask you these questions, you're able to listen. You're able to respond to what they're saying, not just regurgitating what you've memorized. Because when you're able to listen, what's another time that you're gonna have to be able to listen to somebody before you help them? Oh, your patience. Yeah, it's all tied in together. Double check my notes here. Alright. Number 8, be appropriately professional. Now, there are some schools that will give you a student interview. And a lot of people will screw up on the student interviews because they don't treat the student as, a professional, someone that's already in the field, someone that's already done what you're trying to do. They'll try to ask them really questions on the slide like, hey, is this really a good program, or what is the real on here? No, you need to really show them the respect of not an elder, but someone that has more of an authority figure in the interview. You can't just, be, oh, you're a student too, so, what do you guys do around here? What do you guys go on weekends, or what do you do to get away from the classwork? Don't screw your, I'm trying to watch my language as I talk. I'm sorry, because I know I'm being recorded, and it's very, very hard. I'm so sorry. Don't put your, yeah, right? Don't put your foot in your mouth, is basically what I was trying to say. Asking stupid questions because you think it's up here and not someone that's actually interviewing. And that'll be another one I'm going to mention down the line, but everybody that you meet, you need to show the utmost respect to and treat them as just as important as that, a part of that institution, whether it be janitorial staff, someone that's making coffee, from a student to whoever you meet. It's not just the deans that are important, it's not just the admissions counselor that's important, it's everybody about the institution. Sometimes they're placed in specific places just to see how you're going to react and see what the real depths of your character are like. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes another person will just speak up like, hey, that person was a real jerk, just want to let you know. And that'll play. That'll unfortunately have a role in your interview process. Alright. Number 7. So the highlight reel. Very similar to having a list of reasons why you want to go into dentistry or why you're picking this particular school. Have a list of what you've done, what you've accomplished, and don't make it just a resume. Oh, in 2008, I volunteered at Kicks for Kids. In 2012, I was in DDS, Cardinal member, whatever the case is. Have an understanding of what you've done, but don't just rattle off names of what it was. Give stories. Give more insight. What was the significance of this experience? Why was it important? Why did you even put it on your resume? There's times when you can put it in your personal statement, and for those of you that we look at personal statements, you know how we go through and write down everything that you've done, and let's cut out what doesn't really fit for the personal statement. This is your chance to retouch those other aspects of what you've experienced and what you've done, and showcase the diversity and how well-rounded you are and what you've taken part in. A big mistake. Oh, it's right here. So, don't go in and say, "Oh, I want to be a dentist. I love working with patients. They're wonderful." That doesn't tell us anything. What is it about the patients that you like? What makes you come alive? What drives you to want to continue to do this every day? What is it about this field, or about this industry, or about this career that really makes you want to wake up every day and say, "This is the best decision I made in my life. It's going to become a dentist." So, be very thoughtful in those answers and responses. The transcript is a big question. So, for those of you that did very well throughout your entire academic career and the GPA has never been an issue, great. Don't worry about that. But don't also, say, well, I should get a pass because my grades are awesome. This tip is more geared towards the students that might have had, a few bumps in the road, that didn't do so well the first, second year, that had to take some time off to either improve their grades, or they had to, change major halfway through to, rehabilitate the GPA, whatever the case was. Whatever your path was, whatever it took you to get to the point that you are, if you made it to the interview, it's okay what your transcript looks like. Own it though. Don't be like, oh, well, it was a couple bad classes, or USC is very unforgiving in their sciences. I know that's true, but I don't care. What about the other person that got the A? You know, it really just isn't to your benefit. If you struggle or you make poor decisions, as long as you learn from them, that is the key. That is what's most important. If you didn't learn anything from it and you continued on for 4 years at a 2.95 GPA because you didn't seek help, you didn't make changes in your academic career, then that's a problem, and you probably wouldn't even be at the interview stage right now. But if you've gotten to the point, you feel like your transcript might be the worst part of your application, but you made it to the interview, just accept it. Take accountability for what the past is. Showcase where your growth has been. And you'll be alright. Oh, my notes were be humble, be confident, self-reflective, not reckless and cocky. Those are my notes. Yeah. Okay. A lot of times, now it's very different being in an advising session with me versus being in an interview. I get a lot of students that have come to me and say, I tried this, didn't work for me. I tried this, didn't work for me, but here I am in dentistry, and it's cool, I like it. Well, that's great, okay. Now we have something to work with, now we have something to build towards. Let's start getting to work. But in an interview, especially at a dental school, you don't want to have that lack of enthusiasm or lackluster attitude towards it. You want to be very distinct about, this is why I chose this is why I'm here, and this is what my plans are. This is what my goals are. You don't want to come in and say, I kind of picked dentistry because, medicine didn't really work out for me. Who's going to want you? Who wants to be second rate? Even in medical school, or dental school, they're going to look at that like, well, do you really want to be here? Are you here for yourself? What are the reasons as to why you decided to take this path? Was it something that you picked on your own? Is this something that you're being pressured to do? Or is this something that you truly want? Because at the end of the day, if you go through this and you don't have the right reasoning behind it, or you don't have the right motivation, it's going to chew you up and spit you out. It's not just something that's a backup plan. This is a primary goal, and you have to treat it as such. So make sure you express your enthusiasm for going into this field, for being here, for picking this school specifically. Don't just say, oh, why did you decide to come to Loma Linda Dental School? Oh, well, you're in California, so I thought I'd apply. No. You need to do your research. You need to know why you applied to the school specifically. What about this school is good enough for you to want to commit 4 years to it, invest yourself, invest your money, and what do you want to get out of it, right? Not just, oh, they're in California, that'll do.
That said, if I could mention,
Yeah.
I know that a lot of graduate schools really appreciate when students, they kind of settled on a choice after reviewing other options, because that way they know for sure that that's what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So I've talked to Ryan before where, I started out psychology when I was a freshman. I thought that that's what I wanted to do. When I talked to him, he was like, oh, do you want to do dentistry? If psychology is your passion, then you go do psychology. Then I went into USC more and more, and I found out that dentistry is my passion. So I think that a lot of graduate schools do appreciate when you kind of been through a process to figure out that, this is exactly what you want to do. So it's kind of like, what you're saying before, really with your story.
No, definitely, and you weigh your options, right? Like, say you end up going through the interview process and you get 3 offers, right? You're not going to accept all 3, but you're going to take the time to see which school has the type of curriculum I want, which school is going to have the type of interactive clinicals that I want, which school is going to give me the type of experience that I want, or the whatever it is that you want out of your professional school experience. Who's going to give you that specific educational experience? So it's definitely important to be very, very reflective and have a strong understanding of what you're looking for, what's important to you, and why you're choosing that particular school. So, be aware of current issues in healthcare. You need to not just be book smart, you need to not just be well-rounded, but you also need to be aware of what's going on in society. How is Obamacare affecting the dental industry? How is insurance and malpractice insurance affecting the dental industry? How is that driving up insurance rates? How is that affecting the way people can use, Medi-Cal, Medicaid? How is that affecting California being a failing system at the moment? How are these all going to come into play? You need to be very aware of what's going on. There are some schools No, I'm sure there's a couple that do MMI. And when are you guys familiar with MMI interview style, multiple mini interviews, where you're in 9 different interviews in one interview experience, and you just get a prompt as you walk in, and you got to be able to speak on that prompt with whoever's behind that door. Kind of scary, right? But that's why you have to be very well read and ready to tackle different avenues of society, of the field, of the school, of the community.
So I think that's been getting like more and more popular with dental school interviews. A lot of them have been asking questions about, what are some current issues in dentistry. They want to see that you're not just in dentistry to make money or to establish a business. They want to know that you are a part of something bigger than yourself. And I'm sure Stephanie can speak to that as well, as far as organized dentistry goes a little bit later when she comes up and speaks here. About ASDA and all that stuff, and how they can get aware of the current issues in dentistry. So, yeah, good.
I know I mentioned this earlier, but I think top 3 would be research your school. know the curriculum. Know how they do their when you're going to see patients. When do you go into clinicals? When do you go into rotations? When are you going to be doing these things? If you go in and you talk about a process that they don't even do, I mean, you're just really setting yourself up for failure. You want to know the ins and outs of the schools that you're trying to be a part of. Just like they want to interview you and make sure that you're the right candidate for their program, for their cohort, and for their mission, right? So you want to know that school's mission statement. You want to know that school's values, what their alumni are doing, what their current students are involved in. You want to know what you can bring to the table and what they're going to offer you. So don't go into it just like, I'm just going to show up and just kind of wing it, be natural, just speak from the heart. No, you need to prepare just a little bit. Know what you're going into. But yeah, still speak from the heart. And again, I mentioned this earlier. Treat everyone that you meet during the interview process as they're a very important part of that academic community. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what their position or title is. They are part of that community. So if someone comes over here to Ostro and they treat the parking attendant like crap, or they treat one of the other medical assistants horribly because they're late for the interview and they're just very short-tempered and very rude, word's going to travel back. They're going to know that they were interviewing. They're going to find out different things. They're going to report back to the deans or to the interview committee. Whoever it was, you need to treat everybody with respect. It's very common sense, but you wouldn't believe how many people can be assholes. Yeah. I just let it go. I'm alright. I accepted it. The number 1 tip, right, and I know I've kind of mentioned through this theme throughout the whole top 10, is allow yourself to be interviewed. Listen to what the interviewer is asking of you. Listen to the questions that they're asking. You want to be prepared. You want to know what you're going to say in various scenarios, but don't push an agenda. Don't try to swing everything back to something that you want to tell them about you. Answer the questions that they're asking of you, but be self-reflective in it. I know it's going to be, some questions will catch you off guard, some questions you want to expect, some questions will be a little personal. There's a fine line, which we can talk about later. There's a fine line between too personal and trying to know who you are as a person and get to know the character, depths of your character. There are times when, I've heard, unfortunately, the interview went so horribly, one of our students had to walk out. It wasn't a dental school student, and it wasn't anyone in this room, right? But we called the school, we talked to them, let them know what happened. It was a very, very bad experience. The school apologized and set up another personal interview with a one-on-one with the actual dean of admission for that student because they crossed the line. They went to a too personal questions asking about the student's history, the parent's history. There was just some things that shouldn't have been brought up in an interview that were just very unprofessional. So, but like I said, there's a fine line when they're asking you questions to find out who you are, what you're about, what your inspirations are, why you want to be at this school, at this institution, and questions that are about your family history or things that might have gotten media attention, I should say. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next part, top 10. Any questions about that so far? Cool. Dressing for the interviews. I know this can be a difficult part. Investing in nice clothes. My little sister just graduated from college, and she has 0 professional work clothes. So, well, she doesn't have a job either, so you can't. Some of you are dressed very nice today. Some of you are dressed like students. It's very understandable. But when it comes to dressing for an interview, there are certain do's and don'ts that you want to stick with. So the most basic of the do's and don'ts, especially with the dress, let's start with the guys. A simple 2-piece suit in a neutral color, a navy or a gray. You want to have a light colored shirt. This blue might be the darkest you want to go, right? Maybe a white with a simple tie. I would stay away from something that's too colored or too draws too much attention. I know we've had. I know you mentioned the instance where a student was criticized about
Yeah,
their tie.
I'm gonna tell that story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so I forgot who told me about this story, but there was a dental student who interviewed at Michigan, and he shows up to his interview. He's going to the bathroom, checking the mirror, making sure his hair is nice, his tie straight, everything looks good. And in the bathroom, there's someone else that commented about his tie. They said that his tie, is really ugly. That they didn't like the tie at all. And then the person asked them, "Are you going to wear that tie to your interview?" And he said, "Yeah." I mean, what else can we say? He didn't have an extra tie with him. I mean, that's not what he's thinking. Just bring an extra tie with you to an interview. So he goes to an interview, and it ends up being that the person who asked him about his tie and so that's just luck of the draw right there. He ended up not getting into the school for whatever reason. I don't know if it was the tie or it wasn't the tie or even other things, but I mean, that's just luck of the draw. It's just a bad way to start off an interview. So, yeah.
So that's not a typical experience. That's not the normal experience, but it also could be avoided. Being smart about how you pick out your outfit is very important. You don't want to look sloppy. A lot of people would just pick a pick a suit off the rack and just wear it as that. You need to get that tailored. Get something that fits. It looks good. It makes you look clean cut. With the colors, keep it neutral. Ties, solid color or a simple stripe. This might be okay, but it's kind of a lot going on for a simple tie. You know what I mean? For interview purposes. Let's see, shirts, long sleeves, ties, simple pop color. A belt should be no more than an inch thick. You don't want to get one of those, big belts with all the little buckles in them and little, I don't even know, stuff that you get at Hot Topic, I guess. Well, it was Hot Topic when I was in school, so. You want a nice leather belt, inch thick, and it needs to be the same color as your shoes. That's a huge faux pas. That's just a personal preference of mine. And stay away from box, shirt, and tie combinations. They're just ugly. And that's just the personal preference of mine. So,
Box?
when you can go to the store, you see the box of a shirt with a tie?
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Oh,
are horrible.
yeah, got it.
Those are horrible. Women's wear. It's very similar for the women's. 2-piece suit. You can wear a pant. You can wear a skirt. The big thing with the skirt, though, if you wear a skirt, when you sit down, it needs to cover your entire thigh. Right? Not when you're standing, when you're sitting down. That's the big mistake. If you come in with a skirt that goes a little too high when you sit down, that's just not very professional. That's not work appropriate. That's not interview appropriate. Same thing. You can wear a blazer. You can wear a nice knit sweater, a blouse, tailored fit. Do not show cleavage. Don't wear the low cut. Don't wear too much jewelry. Very simple, very classy, very elegant, very simple. If you're gonna wear hosiery, plain or sheer neutral color that complements your outfit, don't come out with like some hot pink, pantyhose. I know Mike brought up the question about the pumps. That's the big question. Whether you're tall or you're short, wearing a pump is professional if it's at the right length. It's going to be a medium pump. You don't want the platform pump. You don't want the stuff that you're going to wear to the club. You want open toe. Nice, fully covered, medium pump that matches your pants or your skirt. with the pants, you want to make sure for ladies that it comes down and it's hemmed up so that way it doesn't drag when you're walking. One, it just looks nicer, and two, you won't fall. Very simple. Stay away from big jewelry. If you're gonna wear earrings, keep it small, very minimal. Nothing, no gaudy necklaces or bracelets. Don't be, switch out your purse for something small unless you're gonna have a portfolio, keep your stuff in there. You don't want to be carrying around a tote bag or a big bag of anything, whatever you guys carry. For grooming, men, facial hair. If you don't have any, then stay clean shaven. If you do have some, clean it up. Make sure it just looks nice and trim, well kept. Women, makeup, keep it to a minimum, natural. No smoky eyes, no red lipstick. Keep the natural shades. Single coat of mascara is cool. Nail care for everybody. Now this is a very important one because you're going into a field where you're going to use your hands. And if you don't take care of your hands and you have very disgusting nails, that's how germs are spread. Anyone in pre-op, I judge you on your nails. I'm just going to let you know right now. If they look dirty, yeah. There's a note in that vitamin D. I'm playing. There's no note in that vitamin D. It's just keep them clean cut and trim. And again, ladies, if you're going to wear color, keep it very basic and neutral. So guys, with the ties, no character ties, no formal shorts, no trendy dress shirts, no powder blue suits, nothing very gaudy, keep it simple. Ladies, same thing, no mini skirts, no deep V's, no large jewelry, no platforms, stiletto, no tote bags. I think that pretty much covers everything there. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out now. If not, I'm fully available. You guys can email me or come in and see me at a later time. Whatever works for you. We're on appointment base here in the office. You can call us, set up an appointment usually within the next day. And yeah, good luck in interview season for this afternoon and you over there.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So before we finish up, we're actually just gonna have the young students about their previous DBSers, anywhere they'll walk their interviews. They'll walk their interviews, not here into Austria and to other schools as well. So please give a big round of applause to our young students. Yeah, wherever.
So you guys wanna, alright, does this mic work or?
Whatever you want. If you can project,
Okay.
project.
Well, I'm sure, there's a lot of new faces here. A lot of you probably don't know who I am, so I'll introduce myself. My name is Stephanie. I feel really old, but I was president of DDS probably like 3 years ago, so it's been a while. I am a current third-year dental student here right now. And so Michael told me to come here to share my experiences about dental school interviews, and it's been such a long while that I still remember a little bit of it, but I figured it'd be nice to have some first years here since they just went through this like last year, so.
Hi, my name's Ambika. I'd say a lot of new faces in here too. I was community outreach director last year, so nice of you guys to join the club because it's like my favorite place when I was here in undergrad. But just like I guess some tips, kind of reiterating what he said, I think my biggest tip that I saw in interviews was people not like describing their experiences. So if it was like, describe 3 qualities that would make you like a good USC student, people would just be like, oh, I'm really hardworking, I'm really organized, and like I have great teamwork, and that'd be like the end of what they would say. Like expand upon it, be like, I have really good teamwork skills, and because I went to USC at undergrad, we did a lot of group projects. Like I know in every single class we did group projects and presentations. Talk about those experiences. Talk about how you developed your teamwork skills, how you developed your organization skills. Pinpoint specific examples, but don't like be like, oh yeah, I have really good grades, so I'm really hardworking. That's probably like the biggest advice. And be yourself. Like don't rehearse. Don't go on SDN and find out what all the questions are for your interview beforehand and like sit there and write out answers. Just be yourself and you'll be fine. And be confident in who you are. That's probably the best advice.
Do you have some stuff to pitch in?
Just be yourself and be honest and you'll be good.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what they're saying, which is they have a lot of really good points.
if I were to look back at my interview experience, so I interviewed at 3 different dental schools and they were all very, very different. I mean, like Ambika said, don't rehearse everything you're gonna say. But one thing I always tell people, it's very important to research the schools that you are interviewing at. I interviewed at 3 schools, so I'll share them with you guys. So I interviewed here, I interviewed at Pacific, and I interviewed at ASDO. All 3 schools were very different, and I think it's important to research dental schools when you interview there because one of the things they look for in an interview is, are you going to fit in as a student at our school? And so, you've all heard of USC. We're really big on PBL. We're really big on teamwork. Pacific is very big on, I feel like, personality. Do you fit in with the Pacific, family? And ASDO itself is really big on community service, and they were probably one of my toughest interviews. I got asked this ethical dilemma question, and so that's kind of their thing. So I think it's really important to get a feel of what they're looking for in a candidate before you go there, so you can kind of prepare yourself and kind of highlight this facet of you that you think will fit in really well at this school. Another thing I would say, just be yourself, but try to find something about you that stands out. As you know, admissions officers, they look through thousands and thousands of applications, right? They all look the same. Like, I was in a pre-dental society, I did this research, I volunteered here. I don't know, I've never been on a dental school admissions committee, but I think, when interviewing people, I find that the people who kind of find something about themselves to stand out in a good way, usually remember them, and those are the people that you're kind of like, hey, I think would make a good fit at our school. So I had my whole resume of dental related stuff, but one of the interesting things I always brought up, like aside from dentistry, I am a really big sports fanatic. When I was here at school, I worked with the athletic medicine department as a trainer, worked with the football team, the water polo team, so that was kind of just an interesting tidbit that I would bring up so that they would remember me.
I think it's good that you brought up the ethical dilemma question. So when Vika and I we went to this conference for ASDA, it's the American Student Dental Association. They put on mock interviews for the pre-dental students that attended, and it was great because we got a chance to get a taste of what it's really like to be here for dental school. It was by a dental student, but still the questions were very real, and you were very much put on the spot. We were put in a room with the dental student, just you two, and it was just like, I'm going to test you on your interviewing skills. And the ethical dilemma question came up. She asked me, can you describe an ethical dilemma experience in your life? And I just kind of drew a blank, because you're not really trained to think that kind of way. It was an experience that you had in your life, but, it wasn't some big deal. But in dentistry, your future profession, dental schools, that's a big deal because it's such a patient-doctor relationship, and they want to make sure that, you work by the rules, you are, ethically sound in all of your reasoning and stuff like that. So, I think it's really good to practice stuff like that, for sure. I mean, not so that it sounds like you practice it and it's routine, but just, keep on the top of the mark or something like that.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. But obvious, like I said, my first point, research the dental schools you're interviewing at. Every school has its own character. When I go to conferences and I talk to, dental students from UCLA, the one thing that they all say that they were asked during their interview was their research experience. And for me as an undergrad, I didn't really do that. So when I saw their secondary, it was like toss. But, every school kind of has their own focus. And so, yeah, if you get the UCLA secondary, the first page is like, tell us how research has impacted your life. And I was, no, I don't want to do this. But yeah, that's some of the things that I remember from my interview experiences.
This is like kind of going back to one of his tips, like this is on like being confident. Be prepared to like talk about bad grades that you got. If you got a C in OChem, like it's okay, like people will mess up. Don't be like caught off guard, don't be like, oh yeah, like I just did that. Like don't be like timid, be like, you know what, I didn't do that well that semester, but like after then you can see like my grades went up, I was way more focused. Be confident that like you did better and that own your grades. Don't like make excuses. Don't say like it was because of all these reasons why you got bad grades. Like it was your fault, you weren't focused, that's it. You moved on with it and you did better.
Yeah. And they can attest to it. Ryan Payton, who we all met, the admissions officer at this meeting, he has said that dental schools, or at least Austria, prefers a C over a W. So that's just something to keep in mind when you guys are taking your science classes and your other courses and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, feel free to
Yeah,
ask
any
questions.
questions?
This is it. Any questions? No stupid questions.
There are no stupid questions. We will answer anything and everything you have questions about.
Or if you guys want to do this over Gmail, because I know you're all look like a shock and fear right now.
Yeah, we'll give, Michael has our email addresses, so anytime you guys are interviewing at any schools, need advice or anything, feel free to contact us.
Yeah.
I have a question. Because of the style USC has its dental school, I know that there's a special kind of interview you guys go to that's a group-like interview. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so USC is one of the more interesting schools. They have a very interesting interview style. And so the interview at USC is basically, it's a test run of our PBL program. So when you come to USC to interview, they put you in a group of, I don't know, was it like 10 students? And they give you a PBL case. And what they're looking for is, does this person have the ability to work as a team? To work, with a group of people to come up with a solution to a problem. It's a very non-traditional interview style. You're not going to have that one-on-one where someone's grilling you about every little detail in your resume. So, like I said, every school looks for something different. USC is very big on, can this person function in our school as a member of a PBL team? Can this person work as a group, as a team? They're looking, they don't want someone. The rumor when I was interviewing was, when you're at a USC interview, don't be the most domineering person in the group because that's not good teamwork. Like, don't try to take all the credit or take over the group. Be able to work as a team and help each other. And that's kind of one of the things USC looks for because our curriculum is PBL.
Yeah, basically just like make sure that you're not like super timid and like sitting in the back and like not talking at all, but also make sure you're like participating actively. It doesn't have to be like coming up with new ideas. It can be something simple like, oh yeah, I really like what Stephanie said. I think that's like a really good idea. We should note that down. Even that like counts as participation. That's showing that you're like actively being involved and you're supporting your team members. Don't like throw down team members or anything like that. That being said, like it's not as daunting as it sounds. It's really not that bad. It's not like, oh my god, they're gonna give you a case and tell you guys to like diagnose some guy that has hypertension and like figure out what drugs he should take. Like, it's nothing crazy like that. It's like really simple stuff, and that this goes back to like beware of what you see on SDN. Like in my interview, it was very clear that the guy already knew the case, already knew the diagnosis, and was like super adamant from the beginning, like, no, I know that this is what the patient has, and was like shooting down everybody else's answer. So like obviously you're gonna go at SDN no matter what and like research stuff, but like don't be obvious that you know what's going on, I guess would be my advice. And there's like a question answer session where you like each get like, they're like very icebreaker questions like what do you do in your free time? What do you do to like de-stress from school? Like don't like freak out that that's your make it or break it. Like just be honest. Yes. My advice.
Yeah, clearly the guy who was shoving the answer down people's throat was missing the point of the whole interview process at USC. So that's basically, does that kind of answer your question about USC interview style?
Yes, and then I have one more to add to that.
Alright.
Is it an open application interview? Like, do they have your information when they want to ask you questions, or do they not?
They don't. So I don't even think they have, you don't get a one-on-one interview. And I don't think they have your file out there.
So in the group interview, they don't have their file.
Like I don't even think that the facilitators that are in your PBL session have read your application. Like they are there like blanks, like kind of to see how you interact in a group. The questions that you get are literally like in a basket, like at random. The questions are like, you won't know what question you're gonna get until like 2 seconds. And you read the question as you're like answering it, kind of. It's not like, oh, you have like 2 minutes to think about your answer. It's like you literally read a question and go.
And like Randy said when he was up here, you know, if you got an interview, then your transcript is okay. You know, it's not your grades. They've already accepted your grades and your GPA and stuff like that. Now they're just trying to see who you are as a person beyond your application.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what Michael said is a really key point. If you got an interview, that means they like what they see on paper. So all you have to do is go there and, you know, so that they could prove that you are what you see on paper, but also to see what you are like as a person and if you're gonna fit into the culture of the school.
Mike, do you have any words of wisdom for us?
I think they pretty much nailed it all.
Do you guys have any questions, really, anything at all?
Anything about dental school, about applications, anything about how awesome this club is.
How's your first year going?
Amazing. Amazing so far. It's week 3. All to be in lab till like super late, but like I'd way rather be there than be in Levy, like depressed in the basement. So it's going good. It's very good.
What about you, Fair? It's a little dirty out here. So it's not so bad actually for the first few weeks. So we got 11 p.m. 10 p.m. Trying to do impressions, trying to do a good model, perfect models.
They're very hard workers.
Sweet. You guys good? Also, for you new members and returning members know this, but new members, we do have a Facebook page with all of our members, previous and current. So you can post questions on there, and these guys are still on the Facebook page, and they can answer your questions anytime. So yeah, and if you want to contact them personally, just let me know. Alright, sounds good.
Sign-in sheet that's going around.
Yeah, there's a sign-in sheet going around. Our next meeting is in 2 weeks from today. It's an awesome meeting. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Thursday at the social. And if you need to turn in your app and dues, please do so now.
Also take more food.